Have you ever found yourself in the kitchen, maybe just making a simple sandwich?
Yeah.
Grab the bread, the cheese, the ham,
Sure.
and then you pause, maybe think about the tools you're using. What if that, like, perfectly thin slice of ham came from a machine? Well, older than your great-grandparents.
It's kind of an unexpected star, isn't it? A mechanical marvel, really, from over a century ago, designed to give you that perfect slice with what the makers promised was just one gentle push.
That promise. One gentle push. Back in 1883. That's exactly what we're diving into today.
Yikes.
Our focus is this antique American ham slicer. You have to picture it. A kitchen marvel of its time, built for perfectly even slices every single time.
Yeah, and our deep dive today, it's based on this really fascinating source that documented the whole restoration. I mean, the full restoration of one of these machines.
So what's the mission here?
Well, our mission is to kind of uncover the secrets behind its amazing durability, you know? The story of who made it originally and just the sheer dedication it takes to bring a piece of functional history back to life.
And when they found this thing for restoration, it was over 140 years old.
Incredible.
Yeah. Okay, sure, the metal parts are rusty. The wood had that thick aged patina, you know, that dark look that time gives things.
Mm-hmm. The story it tells.
Exactly. But here's the really amazing part. Despite all that time, no severe structural damage. That just screams quality, doesn't it? How robustly it was built.
And what's fascinating about that initial state, right, is how it immediately hints at the original thinking. It wasn't just like thrown together, it was engineered to last, even way back then.
And that's really the core of what we want to explore today.
Yeah.
This deep dive, it's kind of a shortcut for you to understand the surprising ingenuity you can find in everyday objects from the past.
Yeah, the hidden stories.
And the dedication that goes into real craftsmanship and, you know, what it truly means for something to be genuinely built to last. So let's get into the journey of this amazing machine.
Yeah, let's do it. Like you said, the fact that this slicer, after 140 years, was still so resilient. I mean, beyond the surface rust and the patina, nothing fundamentally broken. That tells you straight away about the initial build quality. Just incredible.
It really is.
It survived because it was made right the first time around.
Powerful testament. Did the source, the restoration story, tell us anything about who was behind that quality, like the company?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. During the disassembly, they found a logo. It identified the maker as Tucker and Dorsey.
Tucker Dorsey, okay.
And what's really compelling about them is just how long they lasted. They started up in 1865 and kept going all the way until 1977.
Wow, 1865 to 1977, that's over a century of making things.
A century-long enterprise, exactly.
So what do we know about their reputation back then, Tucker and Dorsey?
Well, if you connect the dots, they were known for producing hardware, wooden products, including these meat slicers, other kitchen tools too. Apparently they were hugely popular, North America, Europe.
Really? Why so popular?
It really came down to their product quality. It was unwavering. Their name just sort of became synonymous with stuff that would last. You know, endurance.
It brings us right to the restoration itself. This wasn't just wiping it down with a cloth, right?
Oh, definitely not.
It sounds like it started with that wooden base, the part with that really deep historical coating you mentioned. How did the restorer even begin with that?
Well, the very first step was this meticulous cleaning of that surface layer. They used 100 grit sandpaper with a grinding machine.
Okay, 100 grit, that's pretty coarse, right?
It is, yeah. It's ideal for aggressively stripping off those thick old layers of, you know, grime and finish, but without actually damaging the wood underneath. You have to be careful.
Right. And I bet they didn't just use one tool for the whole base.
No, exactly right. They used different grinding tools for different spots, really getting into every corner, making sure no detail was missed.
Makes sense.
And beyond that, a lot of the original screw holes, they'd just worn out over the decades. So to fix that, they re-drilled them, filled them up tight with wood dowels and white latex glue.
Creating a fresh start.
Yeah, a solid base. Then they drilled new screw holes, guaranteed a really firm hold when it all went back together.
Now here's something that really jumped out at me. They made their own filler. They mixed latex glue with sawdust. What's the thinking behind that?
Isn't that brilliant? It's just a fantastic example of resourceful craftsmanship. This custom filler, it not only sticks incredibly well, but because they used sawdust from the same type of wood, it perfectly matched the original color and grain once it was all finished. It allowed for these seamless repairs that really, you know, honored the original look of the piece.
So once that homemade filler hardened up, they sanded it down. Again, with 100 grit first, I guess, to get rid of the excess?
That's right, and then polish it finely with 320 grit paper.
Okay, so why the jump to a much finer grit like 320? What does that do?
Well, that progression from 100 to 320, it's really critical. The coarser grit, the 100, it removes material, right? Shapes things.
Right.
But the finer grit, the 320, that creates that incredibly smooth, almost silky surface. It gets the wood perfectly ready for the next step, applying a walnut wood stain. And this wasn't just for looks, although it definitely helped that.
Okay.
It also gave crucial protection against like insects and decay. And at the same time, it really enhanced the wood's natural grain, just elevated the whole appearance.
It sounds like a transformation just for the wood base itself. But it wasn't just cleaning and filling, was it? I think the source mentioned a damaged wooden block, something connected to the blade.
Yeah, that's right. The edges were compromised. That's where you really see the woodworking skill shine. Since the original edges were just too damaged to fix properly, they had to remake it completely.
From scratch?
From scratch. They traced the original shape, cut out the initial pieces, and then used the specialized cutting machine to thin the new wood down to the exact precise thickness needed for the whole mechanism to work right.
Precision work. And it wasn't just that one block, right? Weren't some of the base corner pieces also replaced? Maybe cracked or not original?
That's correct, yeah. 2 of those corner pieces, they were remade entirely. Cut, thinned down to the exact dimensions.
Wow.
After sanding, they used an edge trimmer to shape them. The source actually described watching that part as very smooth and satisfying. You could really see the skill involved.
It really does sound like this blend of engineering precision and real artistry.
Totally.
So once those new parts were made, I assume more drilling, marking screw holes.
Yep, marked and drilled the holes, regularized the surfaces, made sure everything was smooth and flush, and then yes, more staining to match everything up.
And finally, the varnish.
Finally, a clear varnish applied to all the wooden parts. That gives it that durable, protective layer, seals the wood, seals the stain.
And gives it that finished gloss.
Exactly. Gives it that beautiful finish, but also, importantly, ensures the wood is protected for hopefully another century or more.
Okay, so that covers the wood, which sounds like an incredible process in itself. But what about the heart of the machine? All those metal bits that took the brunt of, 140 plus years of rust. How did the restorer tackle bringing those back?
Well, yeah, after the wood, the metalwork was a whole different beast, like you said. Take the main metal baffle part, for instance. The first step was pretty dramatic, sandblasting.
Inblasting, okay.
Yeah, to strip away all those decades of rust. And what was cool, we learned, is that this process also beautifully revealed the original casting marks underneath the rust.
Oh, interesting. Like little signatures from the past?
Kind of, yeah. So those marks and any burrs, rough edges left over from the casting process, they were then meticulously ground smooth using files, electric grinders, getting it perfect.
And then there was another filler involved. A metal filler this time, made by mixing 2 cold welding agents. What does that mean?
Yeah, think of cold welding agents as basically a super strong 2-part epoxy, but specifically designed for metal.
Okay.
The great thing about them is they allow for incredibly strong repairs without needing heat. That's perfect for delicate antique parts, right? Things that could warp or get damaged by traditional welding.
Right, you don't want to compromise the original metal.
Exactly. So this filler, it has excellent adhesion, really stable, perfect for filling any tiny pits or little holes left in the metal surface. Once it was dry, it was sanded perfectly smooth and flat.
Okay, filler done, surface smooth. Then a coating. A food-grade coating was sprayed on.
Yes, but it wasn't just sprayed on, it was then baked. Specifically baked at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes.
Why bake it? What does that do?
That baking step, it's crucial, especially for modern kitchen equipment restoration. But even here, it's not just about the color drying. It actually cures the coating.
Cures it?
Yeah, it transforms it into this incredibly hard, durable, and most importantly, food-safe surface. This ensures that the restored slicer isn't just pretty, it's completely safe to use for slicing ham, just like a modern appliance would need to be. Ensures it lasts, too.
Even tiny parts got this treatment, didn't they? Like a long stud.
Oh yeah, every piece. That stud was ground with a grinding wheel to get the rust off. Then its head was actually enhanced by welding, filling the edges, making it slightly larger for a better grip or function.
Man, that welding sounds tricky.
We heard it really tested the restorer's skill. That specific type of welding, it apparently demands years of hands-on experience to do it right without damaging that old metal.
Wow.
Once it was welded, it was ground and polished smooth. And then, this is important, submerged in a nickel solution for nickel plating.
Nickel plating, why?
That plating adds this strong, thin layer of metal. It acts as an anti-oxidation barrier, basically long-term rust prevention, helps the piece last for generations more.
That makes sense.
And the knob nut, other screws, they all got similar meticulous treatment. Rethreading if needed, grinding, polishing, and that nickel plating too.
The level of detail is just staggering. It makes you appreciate every single component. But okay, what about the blade? That's kind of the business end of a slicer,
That's
right?
absolutely crucial.
What state was the original blade in?
Well, the original blade had chips missing on both ends, and it was also significantly bent out of shape.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
How do you fix a bent 140-year-old blade?
Very carefully. The restorer heated it gently, coaxing out those bent sections. It's this really delicate balance of applying heat and pressure to straighten it, but without messing up the steel's integrity, its temper.
Right, you don't want to make it brittle. And the missing chipped parts, you can't exactly order a spare online for an 1883 Tucker and Dorsey slicer.
Exactly, no spare parts aisle for this. This is where the resourcefulness really comes in again. They actually found a discarded piece of metal, looked like maybe a flywheel part from something else, drew the required shape onto that piece, and then cut out sections to match the missing chips on the blade.
And
Then they expertly welded these new sections onto the original blade, and the weld points were meticulously ground down until they were absolutely smooth, completely seamless. It's a real testament to marrying old materials material with new technique in a functional way.
Incredible repair work.
Yeah.
Then they had to sharpen it, obviously. I read they actually stuck the blade to a piece of wood to grind it.
Yeah, adhering it to the wood likely made it safer and easier to handle during the grinding process, allowed for more even pressure.
And they used different grits of sandpaper again, from coarse to really fine.
That's right, progressively finer grits. Started around 100 grit, which is quite coarse, removing material and shaping, all the way up to an ultra-fine 800 grit.
What does going all the way to 800 grit do for a blade?
That multi-stage progression is absolutely key for getting a perfect edge. The coarser grits, like the 100, they remove the imperfections, fix the geometry. The finer grits, like the 800, they refine the surface, polishing out the scratches from the coarser grits, preparing it for that final razor sharpness.
Okay, so sandpaper gets it smooth, then a whetstone.
Yep, after the grinding paper, a whetstone was used right on the cutting edge, and crucially, the whetstone was soaked in water beforehand.
Why soak it?
That lowers the temperature during the sharpening process. Friction creates heat, right? So the water prevents the blade edge from overheating, which would make it brittle or lose its toughness, keeps the steel strong.
So the whetstone really brings that sharp edge back. And then there was one more step. Stropping. What's that?
Stropping. After the whetstone, they used leather stropping. This step removes any microscopic burrs or tiny imperfections left on the very edge by the whetstone. It also polishes the edge even further.
So it makes it even sharper.
Enhances the sharpness to an incredibly fine level, yeah. They even did a sharpness test, apparently, to make sure it was absolutely perfect.
Wow.
And then finally, a wool wheel was used for polishing the whole blade surface, giving it that brilliant mirror-like finish. Just beautiful work.
Unbelievable attention to the blade.
Yeah.
And the other metal parts? The main knob, the handle, accessories, same kind of process.
Pretty much, yeah. Those also got sandblasted to get rid of the rust, then grinding to smooth out any of those original casting marks or burrs, making everything look pristine.
And for those parts, they chose a different finish, right? Not nickel plating.
Right. For those, they went with a specific aesthetic choice, this vibrant lemon yellow powder coating.
Lineal.
Yeah. Adds a real pop of modern color, kind of contrasts nicely with the wood and the nickel, but it's also super durable, just like the other coatings.
So after all that, every single piece, restored, cleaned, repaired, coated, wood, metal, blade.
Yeah.
It was finally time for the grand reassembly?
That's it, putting it all back together. Each part carefully returned to its original place, piece by painstaking piece. You can imagine the satisfaction in that step.
Oh, absolutely. And then the culmination, right? The moment of truth. The reveal of this 1883 ham slicer, fully restored.
Yeah.
The transformation, just looking at the pictures, it's so visually impactful. The overall quality now, it just radiates this sophisticated elegance. It really speaks to the original craftsmanship, doesn't it?
It really does. And the skill of the restorer who brought it back, just superb. You can see the care taken.
And the ultimate test, did it actually work?
That's the best part. They used a piece of actual ham. The restorer adjusted the settings, held the handle, and with that one gentle push,
No way.
it delivered a perfectly consistent, beautiful slice of meat. Imagine. After all these years, this machine is still doing exactly what it was designed to do, making a ham sandwich possible, just like it did over a century ago.
It's truly incredible, isn't it? To see that transformation from, rusted and patinated, sitting forgotten somewhere, to this elegant working machine. That superb skill of the restorer. It really did bring back its original visual impact, that sophisticated quality. Honoring the past, but making it usable now.
And if you connect that back, like we talked about, it's more than just this one machine, right? It's this powerful testament to that whole company, Tucker and Dorsey. A century-long business.
Right.
Popular because they focused on product quality. This slicer's whole journey, it just reflects those core principles. Good craftsmanship, smart material science back then, designing things with foresight, all the things that let it last 140 years and be fully restorable.
It really does make you think, doesn't it? About our modern habits, how we consume things today versus the value in something durable, something you can actually repair.
Definitely.
Why does it even matter that something from 1883 can still slice ham today? What is this whole intricate restoration process? Did all those specific techniques for wood, metal, the blade, what does that teach us about appreciating maybe the why behind something lasting so long, beyond just, its basic function?
It really raises some profound questions, I think, about the life cycle of the stuff we own. This deep dive, it's about a ham slicer, but it's really a conversation about value, isn't it? Durability, maybe a different way of thinking about progress.
Yeah. And that kind of leads us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe ponder.
Yeah.
In a world that feels increasingly dominated by, planned obsolescence, things designed not to last, what might we gain if we embraced more of that philosophy of restoration, of enduring quality, not just for old machines, but maybe in more parts of our lives? What other, kitchen marvels or everyday tools from the past might be out there just waiting to share their own forgotten stories of ingenuity and craftsmanship?
Great question.
We really hope this deep dive sparks maybe a new appreciation for the long-lasting things around you, the stories they might hold.